Have you ever thought buying a coffee in Tokyo with US dollar or paying for lunch in Paris with Canadian bills? You will get a polite no. There are about 180 different currencies on earth and not one of them works everywhere. Why? Why didn't humanity agree on one currency? Where did money even come from at the first place? And what actually happens when you convert one currency into another? Let's start at very beginning. For most of the human history, there was no money at all. If you raised goats and wanted grain, you had to find someone with grain who also happened to want a goat. Economists call it the double coincidence of wants, and it made trade slow, clumsy, and often impossible. So societies invented a workaround. Pick one thing everyone agrees to accept. In different parts of the world, that was different things. Cowrie shells, cattle, salt, grains. The key was not what it was made of, it was that everyone trusted it. And that's the secret at the heart of this whole story. Money is just something a community agreed to trust. And right there is your first clue about why every country has its own money. Different communities separated by oceans, mountains, each trusted different things. There was never one global agreement about money. There were hundreds of separate local ones. Then around 2600 years ago, in a kingdom called Lydia, in what's now Western Turkey, someone had an idea that changed everything. They took small lumps of electrum, a natural mix of gold and silver, and stamped each one with a mark. That stamp was a guarantee of its weight and its purity. Suddenly, you didn't have to wait and test the metal every single time you traded. You could just count. These were the world's first coins. The idea spread fast. The Greeks adopted it, and then rest of the ancient world. Coins made trade faster and easier than anyone had imagined. But rulers noticed something. Whoever controlled the stamp controlled the money. So they put their own symbols and later their own faces on every coin. One kingdom, one coinage, money had quietly become a mark of who was in charge. And that's the deeper reason currency multiplied. Every kingdom, every empire minted its own. Your money told everyone exactly whose territory you were standing in. But coins had a problem. They were heavy. Imagine hauling a fortune in metal across a continent, slowly, exhausting, and a magnet for thieves. There had to be a better way. The fix came from China. Over 1,000 years ago, merchants started to deposit their coins with trusted houses and carrying a paper receipt instead, one they could redeem for the metal somewhere else. They called it flying money. By the 11th century, China's Song dynasty took the next leap. Government issued paper notes, widely considered the world's first real paper money. And think about how the strange that actually is. The paper itself was worthless. It worked entirely on the promise behind it. For the first time, the money wasn't a valuable object, it was trust printed on a page. When travelers like Marco Polo carried the idea west, Europeans were amazed. Centuries later, they adopted it too, and paper banknotes spread across the world. With modern nations formed, each one issued its own paper money, its own promise to trust, and that's how we arrived at today's map. Around 180 separate currency, very nearly one for every country on earth. So why not just merge them all into one world currency? Because a currency is a power. Controlling your own money lets a country steer its own economy, making borrowing cheaper or more expensive, responding to hard times. Hand that control away and you hand away a lot. There are exceptions. 21 European countries choose to share a single currency, the euro, and a few countries simply use another country's money outright, but most of still guard their own. For most of the history, currencies were anchored to something physical, like a gold. That's changed in 20th century. Today, most of the currencies float. Their value is not fixed to gold at all. Instead, it's set moment to moment by the market. And the market is vast. The global currency market trades trillions of dollars every single day, more than any other market on earth. It spans every time zone and it never really sleeps. So here, what conversion actually means. An exchange rate is simply the price of one currency measured in another, nothing more mysterious than a price tag. Say you have 100 US dollar and you are going to Europe. If $1 buys about 90 cents in euros, your $100 become roughly 90 euros. Fly to Japan next and those euros convert again into thousands of yen. Every pair of currencies has its own rate. A British pound is usually worth more than US dollar. A US dollar is usually worth a bit more than Canadian one. And none of these are fixed. They drift a little every day. But who actually decides the price? Nobody sets this number by hand. A currency is priced like anything else, by supply and demand. When more of the world wants a country's money, its value rises, and when fewer do, it falls. So what makes the world want more or less of it? Mainly four forces. The first one is trade. When a country sells a lot of goods abroad, foreign buyers first have to buy that country's currency to pay for them. More demand for the goods means more demand for the money, and that pushes its value up. A country the world buys a lot from tends to have a stronger currency. The second is interest rates. When a country's central bank raises rates, holding that country's money suddenly pays more. Investors around the world move their savings in to earn the better return, and to do it, they buy that currency. That's why a rate can jump the moment a central bank announces such news. The third is inflation. How fast prices are rising inside a country. When prices climb quickly, each unit of money buys less at home and less abroad too. So the currency weakens. Low, steady inflation usually means a steadier and stronger currency. Runaway prices means the opposite. The fourth is harder to measure, but it's the most powerful. The confidence. Money flows towards places that feel safe and away from places that feel risky. When the world turns uncertain, investors rush into the few currency they trust the most, like a safe harbor in a storm, and those currencies strengthen. Now we have a picture of all four: trade, interest rates, inflation, confidence, pushing and pulling on every currency at once, every second of the day. That tug of war never stops. It's why the number on the screen is never quite the same twice, and why a currency's price is really a live vote on the country behind it. And that's the whole journey, from cowrie shell to stamped coins to paper promise and to the digital card technologies. Money has only ever been one thing: a shared agreement to trust. Different currencies are just different circles of trust, and conversion, that's simply to bridge between them. If this video made more sense, that's exactly what this channel is for. One real world money idea made clear every single week. Subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.